Good day, everybody. Meteorologist Robert Spuddy with today's Western Pacific and Australian weather update. Also go a little bit later on into the video, time shown right here. Also have a little earthquake update on the 6.0 that occurred off the east coast of Honshu today. But basically the main topic of weather today, though, across much of the Western Pacific, actually two areas that we're watching. This large area of convection down here near 10 degrees latitude, just north of Palau specifically, got some cyclonic circulation in there. And also this very large low coming off of China. Basically, we call this a Shanghai low out here, running over Korea right now, increasing precipitation out there, but also going to be increasing precipitation across much of Japan, including the hit areas here off the northeast coast of Honshu here, the tsunami affected areas, and also going to be seeing a stationary front kind of attach off of increasing precipitation throughout much of the East China Sea here from Okinawa down to Taiwan. And showing here by tomorrow evening, the 22nd at 18 Zulu, you basically start to see this area of low pressure in its mature stage up in here. That's when you start to see the vertical stacking on this from the surface all the way up to 500 millibars, basically vertical vice that diagonal snacking, which makes it more of a cold core low and kind of gives it that potential. But here, once you do start to see that mature phase kind of building on this, the whole reason why I described that is that we're going to start to see kind of a triple point low forming off of this down in this region. And that's when we start to get those split lows coming over much of Japan here, and that's why you get precipitation on both sides of the islands when this happens. So increased precipitation here for much of Honshu, noting that the tsunami affected areas are south of the 540 line right in here, so the chance of snow seems rather low outside of the areas up here in the Japanese mountain. In this model analysis for the 23rd in the evening here, so about 24 hours later, showing that very distinct two lows separating here, another low just off the coast of Honshu and the primary low over the Sea of Japan here. So just one thing I do want to know, expecting that to develop and expecting to see that increase in precipitation on the 22nd into the 23rd. And the other area as far as tropical weather is concerned is this little area of cyclonic churning right in here. We did have the port area Invest 90 kind of move off towards the northeast, wrapped up in all this this off right up in this region here just north of Guam. It kind of just took off today, and really all you do see left over is just basically that trough of low pressure extending off of that right now. But you still have this cyclonic circulation down here just east of the PI right in here, and I'm expecting that to drift towards the west and increase precipitation here over much of the southern PI from Mindanao up to the Visayas here. But Luzon still sitting under the Westpac high rate in here. You can see that anticyclonic circulation in here. So over the next 24 to 48 hours, not actually some fair weather likely in this area for the next 24 to 48 hours. So really kind of good news there, as basically this area of convection here drifts off towards the west, going to increase precipitation, but in Luzon pretty much fair weather. But you still see this large area of convection here over much of the northwest pack right up in here along Japan out to Korea and much of East China right in here. So that's really all going on in the Westpac right now. Moving towards the south towards Australia, area I am continuing to watch out here is this large area of convection in the sea of the Gulf of Carpentaria up in here. I'm expecting this to drift towards the west over Darwin, so likely to see some increase in precipitation up in this region over the next 24 hours. Actually, if you look at the streamline analysis, you can kind of get the gist of anything that does develop up in the region going to drift towards the west with this overall background flow all rotating around the Australian high out here. So kind of good news for as much as Queensland, but I am going to see an increased precipitation over much of northern Australia here in the next coming days as this large area of convection drifts towards the west. As far as any cyclonic development out of it, though, not expecting it due to the interaction with the land over here, but as it starts to drift off towards the west to the Timor Sea, there is a possibility of development with this system over the coming week. So I just think we should continue to watch this area of convection for any development. Not too many of the models are really going up on it, but just kind of a gut feeling on this after it moves over Northern Australia and gets into the Indian Ocean here. But also on this sat shot here, you do kind of get the gist of all the dry weather located over much of Australia currently. There is some upper level clouds right in here, but mass amount of the convection is here up in the Gulf of Carpentaria here and having it drift off towards the west here. So just want to continue to closely watch that over the next coming days. But moving up towards the north, we're about this 6.0 earth, where a 6.0 took place just off the northeast coast of Honshu, south of Hokkaido here. Not really pretty kind of a large earthquake for this far north, actually farther north than most of these aftershocks that have been taking place in recent times, but also noting it was very, very shallow, only about miles deep or about 3 kilometers, so very shallow earthquake. But these are taking place a little bit farther towards the north than we have seen recently here, but just noting Hokkaido not unfamiliar to large earthquakes, as shown in one of these articles from earthquakereport.com. Pretty good analysis on this earthquake, also just showing it's taken place farther north than many of these other ones, but honestly noting that historically in the past Hokkaido has been rocked by several large earthquakes, including a magnitude 9 in 1667, and also more recently an 8.2 and an 8.3 in 2008. So not really uncommon to see large earthquakes up this way, so just want to continue to watch it all along this fault line. We've been continuing to see earthquakes of 6.0 or bigger, and basically typically after an earthquake the size of the 9.0 that occurred more than a month ago, you will continue to see large aftershocks continuing for months at a time. So just one thing I do want to mention though, as we had the 6.0 earlier today. That is all for today, everybody. Thanks once again for listening to westernpacificweather.com. As usual, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can always post them here at westernpacificweather.com or on the YouTube channel in the comment box below. So thanks again for listening. Lastly, I do want to mention continuing to have these weather chats nightly, specifically Wednesdays and Sundays, but also when severe weather rolls around out here in the Western Pacific, specifically typhoon and cyclone season, going to continue to monitor our chat in case anybody has some questions in there. If I'm around, I can kind of give you a one-on-one analysis on all these, and also trying to get some meteorological sense together in collaboration with other people out here. So real good stuff going on in there, so just stop by if you have the chance one of these evenings. But thanks again for listening, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.